Listen, leave Condola alone. I'm tired of this shit. Welcome to Agents of Screen and welcome back to yet another Insecure recap, season 4, episode 5. I am your boy Miles, aka the Ball Beyonce, and let's get straight into it. But before I do, I have some things to say. Like, share, and subscribe. But also, some things need to be said. First of all of this Condola hate and abuse she's been getting is completely unwarranted, and I'll come clean. I am tired of it. Get her name right, first of all. Her name is Condola. It's only 3 syllables. Second of all, before this episode, people are just hating for no reason. She hasn't done anything wrong. She is the least problematic of all of Issa's friends, if you want to call her that. And all of this assumptions that, oh, she ghosted Issa when she needed her most. You don't even know why she ghosted. She could have been in a car accident. She could have been jogging and get shot in the back by some white rednecks. You don't know. Don't make assumptions. And before that, she was there for Issa when she was at her low and she needed someone to help her out. She helped her out. No strings attached. She didn't need anything from her. She just done it out of the kindness of her own heart. Leave Condola alone. Second of all, Issa is bad vibes. I won't go into that one because this is not the right time to speak about that. But let's get into the episode though. Listen, leave Condola alone. I'm tired of this shit. I will defend my bae. Now that we've put that out of the way, this is the funniest episode of the season for me, largely due to the fact of Kelly and Issa's brother Amal. Their dynamic throughout this episode was extremely funny. That being said, the episode opens up with Issa in her bedroom. She's stressing. She's up 3 o'clock in the morning. It might be the day of the block party. She's nervous. She's stressing. What do I do? This is the biggest moment of her life thus far. So she's understandably nervous. Quick reference, she's wearing a Waiting to Exhale t-shirt. You know Waiting to Exhale, the movie with Whitney Houston, Angela Bassett, etc, etc. That's a great movie. If you haven't seen it, go watch that. The first song that I think of when I think of Waiting to Exhale is R. Kelly, When a Woman is Fed Up. That song is not in the soundtrack, but it is basically about what the movie is about. It's when a woman's fed up. You remember that song? I'm standing here looking in the mirror, saying damn to myself, I should have known this day would come when you would find somebody else. And all the shit I put her through, I shouldn't have lasted this long. Now I'm in this telephone booth, I'm calling Tyrone. Cause when a woman's fed up, that's a tune. F. R. Kelly though, I haven't listened to that song in years and you shouldn't be listening to his music either. But the soundtrack was completely written and produced by Babyface, a legend. But what's one of the songs on that soundtrack? That Mary J. Blige tune. 11 years I sacrifice, and you can leave at the drop of a dime. Swallowed my fear, stood by your side. I should have left your ass 1,000 times. Okay, alright, I'm done. I've digressed long enough. I apologize, but I had to exhale. But Issa is up late at night. What am I doing? Issa is up late at night. She sees Nathan is online on Instagram. She DMs him and that leads to a phone call. The phone call which was foreshadowed at the very first episode in the season. And we find out the person who she says, I don't F with Molly, the person who was on the other end of the line was Nathan. At this point in the episode, it's unclear whether she asked for help or not, but we could assume 2 things. 1, she asked for Nathan for help. And 2, her and Molly haven't spoken for 2 months, because in the previous episode it was 2 months until the block party. Now it's the day of the block party and they haven't spoken since that conversation where Molly told Issa that she's not gonna ask Andrew to call that favor to get the Live Nation artist. And now it's the day of the block party and I must say, overall, the block party was lit. It made me miss being outside, you know, socializing with people, dressing up, putting on some nice clothes. You got food trucks, you just see patties, and you have snacks there, snacks like Condola. You got drinks flowing, good vibes, good music. Oh, it just made me think of a better time. That being said, in the early stages of the block party, Issa is running around trying to make sure everything is running smoothly. In the cut, she sees Condola and she's like, she's seen a ghost. But she approaches her and you can see her surprise. And Issa asks her like, yo, like, where have you been? Like, I didn't expect you to come. And Condola says to Issa, her and Lawrence have broken up. But she thought that Lawrence would have told Issa the news. That was what Lawrence was going to tell her in the previous episode. And Issa's like, no, I haven't heard anything about it. But Condola apologizes. Now, as I have made my stance clear at the very beginning of this video, I'm not excusing what Condola done. But I do understand. Not that I condone it, but I do understand. She was hurt. She didn't know what to do with her feelings, and that resulted in her ghosting. That being said, she still came through with the intern. So, you know, it didn't make up for what she did. However, she didn't completely abandon Issa. And I think that deserves some sort of credit. So again, leave Condola alone. And I must say, she looked wonderful. For one thing that I like about Insecure is like a lot of the main characters wear their hair natural. I love that. Now, all of Issa's friends have come out to support. Kelly is there. Kelly is my favorite character by far in Insecure. Kelly was there. Tiffany and Derek came through. Her brother came through, etc, etc. One thing that I touched on in my previous episode recap is that I sense that Tiffany is suffering from postnatal depression or postpartum depression, and she's been throwing out hints, and she throws out a few more here. She said that she wished she left the baby at the supermarket, that the baby didn't take to her breastfeeding, so it's her loss and all of that. So I know this Insecure as a show is a comedy mostly, but they're throwing these things in there. One, I hope within the show itself, I hope that her friends don't ignore these red flags. And two, I hope the show explores more about this, because as I said in my previous one, it's a very serious issue and it is something that is more common than people realize. So it would be good for it to be touched on, for people to understand that they're not alone and people go through this. It's a completely natural thing. Yeah, I hope that her friends, I know the whole focus is on what's happening between Molly and Issa, but Tiffany needs some attention too, because she's going through it. And even later in the episode, when they found out that the baby was crying at home and it was time to go, Derek left, but Tiffany wanted to stay. So Tiffany is definitely struggling at this point. So I definitely think I hope they delve more into that. Kelly, she has a new bae. I don't know if you guys recognize him. It's a rapper called Aminé. He's got a song called Reel It In, which is hard. Bring it in, bitch, I'm the new CNN. Yeah. But one of the funniest things about this, not only Kelly, but she is pretending to have a British accent. All her friends are saying, why are you doing that? She said, when I first met this guy, I told him I was from London. So now I have to carry on this facade for the entire thing. So that just creates a hilarious dynamic throughout the episode. There's a part where he was like eating a taco and she was like, oh, what is that you're eating? Do you eat it with your hands? What is this called? And he's like, oh, it's called a taco. It's like, oh, a taco. Oh, okay. One thing I'll say about Kelly though, I think they do her a disservice to keep her solely as the comedic relief. I think she's worth more than that, and I think she might even get a spin-off. I'd like to see that. I'll definitely watch that. And I think they could explore more of her character, give her more backstory, because I think she's really interesting. And as I said, I think it's a disservice to just keep her solely as comic relief, even though she does a great job at that. Speaking of friends, Molly arrives, and leading up to this, you could see she didn't even want to go to the block party in the first place. And Andrew kind of really showed that he's thinking clearly. He's telling her like she shouldn't punish Issa for the things that she's going through, because just like Molly, she could have been going through a very stressful time at work, so that could have caused a strain in their relationship. So she shouldn't punish her for something that she was doing for herself. So I thought that was really important. That just adds credence to the fact that I think that Molly is punching above her weight with Andrew, and Andrew could do much better than Molly, because Molly is the worst. And even Andrew again was saying to her like, listen, like, look at what she's accomplished. Like, this is no small feat. She deserves respect and accolades for that, and we appreciate Andrew for saying that to Molly, even though Molly should be able to see that for herself. Now, Issa, as I said, she's been running around the event trying to make sure everything runs smoothly. She's worried because even though there are people there and there are vibes and it's mostly a white crowd, so she's thinking, oh, where are all the black people? Like, this is who I made the event for, so where are they at? But you know, typically the black people arrive late. But before that, she's still worried. She's still worried, and in the midst of all of this worry and stress, Nathan shows up. Oh, lo and behold. Again, I know you guys explained why you like him so much, but it still leaves a bitter taste in my mouth how he ghosted Issa last season, and the explanation he gave of why he ghosted. it wasn't good enough for me. But that being said, he shows up, you know, he's given, one thing I appreciate him for, he's given Issa affirmations, he's given her reassurance, he's telling her to listen, because he can see Issa is suffering from like imposter syndrome, but he's reassured her and said, listen, you did that. I remember when we were just walking on the street and this was just an idea in your head, and look, you manifested it. You turn that shit from an idea to an actuality. And sometimes you need people in your life to kind of not keep you grounded, but to remind you of your value, you know, at the times where you struggle to see it yourself. But as I said, in the midst of this stress, this is also added to by the fact that they don't know if their headliner Vince Staples is gonna show up. But slowly things start to, you know, churn. More black people start showing up, even though they're unsure where Vince Staples is. The other acts were lit. You have S.C.R.E.E.N, you have Alex Isley, and she is fire. Underrated and underknown artist. You guys should check her out. 2 songs to check out are Alex Isley, We'll Always Have Paris, and Alex Isley, Think of Me. Fire tunes. As I said, everyone is vibes at the block party. It's getting nice, you know, the sun is going down and it's getting more lit. People are doing the wobble. Being from the UK, I have no idea what the wobble is, but it's a dance obviously, but I've never seen it before. If you guys can tell me like if it originates in some certain state, or is it just like a dance that all black people in America know? Like over here, you can, like the candy dance, for example, everyone in the UK, every black person in the UK knows how to do that shit. So is that like the UK equivalent? So even Andrew was getting down in the wobble. One thing I didn't like is that like before Vince Staples finally got on stage, Issa got called to the stage, and this is the person who was responsible for this event. Give it up for Issa, and she should have got her minute to speak, but the people in the crowd were saying Vince, 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 Vince. So she kind of got rushed off. I didn't really like that. She should have got her moment to shine, because this is like her magnum opus. So she should be allowed to bask in this moment. And speaking of the wobble, while they were doing the wobble, you know, everyone is dancing in the crowd, and you know, Issa and Molly have a little moment where they are vibing together, and it seems like all is good in the hood until after the block party, where it all breaks loose. I would recap it, but I'm gonna try something a little bit different, and we're gonna relive that scene together.
Oh, and thanks for the hookup tonight. You were right. Hello.
What did you hook up?
Oh, I connected him with Issa.
You did?
Nathan was the one who asked me to. All I did was send an email.
Nathan? But you know we're not cool right now.
Yeah, but I didn't think that you'd be mad that I helped your best friend. What's the issue?
Yeah, what is the issue? What is the issue? Nathan was the one that asked him to hook it up. Even though I have my own feelings on Issa, if this is what she's doing, if she's solely done it, reconnected with Nathan for the sole purpose of forwarding her, I don't really like that. I don't like using people. I know she was desperate, but you're better than that. I told you Issa's bad vibes, but let's continue.
This was amazing, Issa. You did it!
Thanks to you, Koya. I'm so glad you were on my team. So for real, you should go to the hospital.
I don't have health insurance, but okay.
Okay.
Should she be driving?
I don't pay.
Message? See that? They're throwing little gems in there. She doesn't have health insurance. She can't afford health insurance, so she ain't going. That's a real and sad problem in America.
I can't believe her. Right. Drive safe, girl. Can I talk to you? Yeah. Did you tell Nathan to talk to Andrew about Vince? I did. Nathan reached out about the block party and I needed help, so... But we had a conversation. I know, and I didn't involve you. Yeah, but you still got my man to do you a favor. And it all worked out, right?
It did all work out, but that's an important detail to remember. Nathan reached out to her to find out if she needed any help about the block party, not the other way around. So it's not like Issa overstepped that mark. Someone asked her if she needed help and she took it. She can't really be blamed for that.
Not the point, Issa. You deliberately went behind my back. I mean, I was very clear about how I felt, but I guess what? That didn't mean anything to you? Because, Molly, you were willing to let me fail? Over what? Some random rule you made up? It wasn't random. I was setting boundaries. Molly, You knew how much this event meant to me. You saw me at We Got Y'all, you saw me struggling, and you decided your new relationship was more important than doing me one little ass favor?
And that's important as well. She is... Molly didn't want to ask a question and would rather not ask the question than to help her friend out in her most desperate need. I understand Issa, as we're going to find out, is someone who consistently asks for help over years. But when you put it like that, she wouldn't ask a question. Just ask the question. If he says no, then cool. I understand you felt like your relationship was rocky at that moment, but Molly, you're doing the most.
They need a one little ass favor. Why are you doing this at my event right now?
Why is she doing this now?
Hey, we don't gotta do this, guys. We were just having a good time.
Yeah, I mean, I was over there wobbling with your shady ass. Meanwhile, you stabbing me in the back? Stabbing you in the back? Molly, this is OD. I don't have time for your drama. Okay? You keep starting shit. You keep making up problems. You keep focusing on shit that I need to fix when you need to fix your fucking self. Bitch, do you hear yourself? Nobody has more drama than you, Issa. Okay? You need to figure out your shit and stop using people. You use Nathan, Andrew, me, who else?
Guys, let's not do this here.
See? You are so miserable. If things don't work out with Andrew, it's not gonna be because of me, girl. Fuck you. Fuck me, I've been stopped fucking with you. I should have dropped your lying ass a long time ago. You still the same selfish bitch you always been. Get your finger out of my fucking face.
And that's another message. Is it a knife? Is it a wallet? You know how many black people have been killed by the police, for example, for mistaking like a phone with a gun, a wallet with if you look at the list of things people have been black people have been killed for or mistaken, it is absolutely wild.
Come on, let's go.
Where'd your accent go?
I'm from Philly.
That's really sad, man. That's really sad. Oh. But what do you guys think? Do you think that Molly is 100% wrong and Issa has no blame in this? Do you feel like they're both to blame? Do you feel that Molly was wrong with how she was 100% wrong with how she handled the situation? But you think that Issa went behind her back or stabbed her in the back or however Molly phrased it? Now this situation is a combination of a lot of things. A combination of this situation right here, and also the tensions have been building for months, and what could have been solved in a simple communication. Say, listen, I love you, you're my friend, you're my best friend. However, I didn't like how you handled this. However, it hurt me when you did that. I don't know if this is a flaw in the characters themselves or the writing for the season, because it seemed like they dragged that out, something which could have been solved in a simple conversation. However, what I will say is it kind of mirrors real life, because sometimes people don't do what you feel is the simple thing to do. We could have had a conversation about this, but you chose to do other things. One thing I didn't appreciate as well is that Andrew apologized to Molly after this. You have nothing to apologize for. So in the next episode, we're gonna have to wait and see what the fallout of this situation is gonna be. Boy, can you recover from a fight? I know men do it all the time. I've had fist fights with my friends before when we were young, not now. But I don't know how women handle that situation. I don't know how this is gonna be reconciled. And I feel Molly, she needs to go back and see that therapist. Her issues, I don't think they can be solved. I think they're too far gone now. In this situation, I think she's 100% wrong. I think they're both to blame for why it got to this stage. And another thing, like the timing of Molly's conversation is awful. All throughout this season, both Issa and Molly have been like, we'll have this conversation later. We'll have this conversation here. We'll have this conversation there. And now Molly is choosing to have this conversation on the biggest night of Issa's life. That is trash, man. You know what they should have done to Molly? This is what they should have done to Molly.
Fight back, nigga! Fight back, nigga! Fight back! Fight back!
Molly is the fucking worst. Anyways, that has been my recap for season 4, episode 5. Thank you for joining me. I appreciate it so much. I have been your boy Miles, and I will see you the same time next week. Until next time, peace. And I'm going to eat some tacos.